Hello. Here in this video we're going to be looking at the homework assigned where it's the adding polynomials 1 through 13. I'm going to look at two of these problems here for us today. Alright, so on this first one we're just going to start off on number 1 to refresh us back on what's going on with this. When we are adding polynomials, what we're looking to do is to gather our like terms, put them together. So when we're looking in these parentheses, we see that within each set of parentheses we don't see any like terms. So that means I'm good to go ahead and start combining like terms between all of the two parentheses. So right here I see this 7x. I'm looking for like terms, so things that have the exact same variables. I see this 2x. Now when I'm putting these two together, now keep in mind when we add our like terms together, right, only those coefficients add, only the numbers out in front of that variable. So when I add these two here in red together, we're going to get a 9x on that. Okay? And now we see that we have some constants left over, and constants are just regular old numbers. No variables involved there. We have a 4 and we have a 9. We know that we are adding these polynomials on the plus sign in between them here. So now I'm left with deciding, well, 4 plus 9, that's going to give me a positive 13. And then that would be our answer on that. Alright, because we have combined, you can check up in our parentheses that every term has been addressed. There's this box in our answer, 9x plus 13. So we'll look at one that's a little more complicated, has a little bit more going on here for us. Alright, and we'll just take this one step at a time. So we're trying to gather our like terms. So I see a 3x squared here. I'm looking over throughout the whole entire problem and see if I can find other x squareds. And I find one right here. So these are the only two terms that have x squared. So I'm going to combine their coefficients. Now I have a 3x squared and a 1x squared. We don't see the 1, it's invisible. But anytime you just see a variable by itself, that's telling you that there is one of it. So we get a 4x squared from that component. Now we are ready to move on to the next part. So we're going to look here, we'll just go in order. We've got our 7xy, and over here we have a negative 6xy. Now make sure you're including this negative sign. Alright, so remember, it's all about the coefficients. We've already recognized that both of these have the x, y as our variables, so we know they're like terms. Now all we're thinking is 7, subtract that 6, leaving us with 1, and it's positive, 1xy. Alright, so we can just put a plus xy there for us. Alright, and then this last component here, let's take a look at our last set of like terms. We have a negative 2y squared and a positive 2y squared. So you may recognize right away that these are opposites of each other, right? If you have 2 of anything, right? If we have 2 of anything here, and we then lose 2 of that same thing, it's all gone. It is at 0, so we will not have to write it. This will be our final answer right here.